Okie dokie nerds, welcome back to another vintage video. Today we're going to play some Dredge, and it's going to be fairly stock style Dredge. There was the Black Decks OD innovation a while ago, pre-EW, to remove the Noxious and put them in the sideboard. And then I've seen a few lists floating around where we've put one back. I'm going to go with 2 and 3 Thugs, because I need to make space for our sideboard card. But other than that, we've got 3 Thugs, 4 Ghouls, 4 Chills, 4 Icarids, 4 Amalgams, 4 Narcs to kill people with, and the Hollow ones, and then Max Permission, 4 Grief, and then all the Dredgers minus that 1 Thug. Chalice in the main, Powders, Missteps, blah blah blah. So very stock standard Dredge on that side of things. And then, post-board, our final 2, Noxious, 4 Vigor, 4 Sickening Shoal, 4 Leyline, and I'm going to play 1 Tolarian Academy. So the reasons we're going to try out the Academy, that's what we're here for today, is one of the sideboard cards that people have been playing recently is Over Encumbered. It makes a bunch of artifacts, and then we have to pay X mana equal to the number of artifacts we control to attack our opponent. And this has actually become a massive issue, because if they're not on 12 life, the Chills can't kill them, we can't attack, and it takes us a while to find and build up to Vigors, right? So it's been quite good. There's been some times when it's not very good, sometimes when it is very good. I've recently been playing more of the combo version of Dredge, which doesn't care about Over Encumbered, so people being on Over Encumbered was actively good for me. And then, yeah, but if we put this Academy in the sideboard, bring in some Noxious as well, then we can just Dredge ourselves, Noxious back in Academy, and kill them through an Over Encumbered, easy peasy. Or if we just draw the Academy normally, then we can just play it, tap it, and that will produce the requisite mana to attack through. So, that's the deck, that's the idea of our spicy sideboard card. Let's hope it comes up. If not, we're just going to play a Dredge League and smash some face. So, I will see you down there for round 1 right now. Okie dokie, in round 1, we're up against King Cedris, who I think is usually mono white, but mono white's been pretty crap recently, so they might be on something different, or my mind just might not remember properly. So, this is obviously a mulligan, and we'll see where we go. Okay, so opponent is here, we mulligan, we powder away this slot. What do we want to keep in our deck? Probably just a hollow one or something. Then we can powder again. Losing 2 Force of Wills and triple Ghoul isn't the dream, but hey ho. And now we find a Bazaar of Baghdad. We are on the draw. We'll keep this. How many cards do I have to put back? 2. So I guess I'll get rid of 1 Grief. Opponent hasn't revealed a Lurus. Maybe I'm supposed to get rid of Noxious then. Noxious Grief. And hope to hit another black card for the Grief. Otherwise we're dredging back the Stinkweed next turn. Alright. Opponent's turn. We are on the draw. 5 cards. And not the most obvious Grief pitch of the day for sure. So, no Lurus on the opposite side of the table, which makes me hesitant about putting that Noxious back, but I really do want to Grief them. Underground Sea, Mox Jet, so it could be Doomsday, could just be Bug. Mox Opal, okay, Big PO. Big PO is interesting. It's like a Tinker list, so they could quite easily have something like Vamp into Tinker here, right? And then we're in trouble. So let's activate the Bazaar. We find the Creeping Chill, so we can discard Stinkweed Imp, Icarid, Serum Powder. And then we'll lead the 2 hollow ones, because we are interested in griefing them. They both get through, but the second one with more hesitation than the first. And this gets in as well. Does the ability resolve before the Vamp goes on the stack? That is the question. If their hand's like Ancestral plus Vamp, then I guess you just cast both of them, right? There's the Vampiric Tutor, yeah. Yeah, we knew about that. I think that was fairly face up. Maybe I'm just in my own head, but do nothing. No Lurus, play a Mox Opal just strikes me as I'm casting turn 2 Tinker. So hopefully they don't have the main deck Sphinx of the Steel Wind here. If they do, then that's going to be problematic to say the least, but we do have the double hollow one to sort of push us through. If they're not on a Tinker build, which I would find wild if you're on no Lurus Mox Opal, then they might just be going to get like a Soul Guide Lantern or something. But that was like a good enough start for us on 5, but the Vampiric Tutor is so powerful that maybe it just kills us anyway. So we've got Mystical Stock Up Pio. So what, they've just had to get Tolarian instead? So if they get Tolarian, because they can't actually cast a Tinker, let's think this through. If they've gone and got Tolarian Academy, they'll play it and they'll have 4 mana for PO for 2, or stock up for 1 floating. Oh yeah, so they'll have 4 mana, and they can tutor plus stock up. If they've, I think we're dying either way, right? So if it's a Tolarian, they can tutor, stock up, get something. I don't know what. And then so then that makes us want to take the stock up, right? Or the mystical. If I take the wrong card here, they can just mystical and delete the vamp. If I get PO, if I take PO, then they've got the stock up mystical line that we just discussed. But what are they going to mystical for? What are they going to mystical for if I take the... And they've gone and got Academy, and then PO draws 2, makes 1 mana, but it's black. If they hit a Mox, then they've got 3 mana. I think I'm supposed to take stock up, right? Because stock up prevents... Stock up prevents the mystical problems? Is that right? So, Mystical Tutor, I don't think I care about because they've just vamped. And if I don't take Mystical Tutor, they're going to cast Stock Up. But then if they play Stock Up, they'll have 1 mana floating, and Mox will make 3. So they need to stock up into double Mox to PO for 4. Which sounds really bad, but double Mox is hard to get when you're top card to Tolarian Academy. And then, do I want to entertain the idea that it's not Tolarian Academy on top? I don't think I do. I think Tolarian Academy is the card that gets them into their deck right now. So I think I'm happy with that. It's that or Lotus, right? What happens if it's a Lotus? Then we've got Lotus stock up, PO for 2 or 3. I think everything starts with stock up. And if they put Academy on top and they don't like me taking stock up, then they might mystical for an Ancestral. And the PO, I think, it's too hard to get to, and the first PO here is not strong enough for us to care. Is that right? So it's a PO for 2, right? So I'm going to take stock up on the expectation that if they were reliant on that stock up, they're going to mystical now for an Ancestral. And if that's wrong, which it is, it's going to be Lotus or Academy here. I don't think there's other plays. Oh, Mox Sapphire, PO for 3. Jesus Christ, I missed that completely. Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt's 2 mana as well. And what's this? Mystical PO for PO. Oh, God. Mana Crypt. I was so focused on the exact same effect that they couldn't pick up. I did want to entertain the idea. So this is just going to be PO, right? Or are they just going to Tinker? Tinker seems really good, right? PO into it. Yeah, get Tinker, play a house, wreck you. Oh, that was findable as well. That was something we could have found. And then what? When we take PO, I don't know. I think we're still dying. Any card I take there, right? We're still dying. Because if it's PO, then they'd cast stock up now. After they'd play the PO, they'd mystical and stock up. That was 4 mana play as well. And then they'd get a PO, but then all their cards would be tapped. So maybe I was supposed to take mystical or PO. PO I was supposed to take, right? Yeah, I think I was supposed to take PO. They tinker away the crypt now. I hope they don't have main deck Sphinx, because that's going to be really hard for us to get around. They've got the house. They haven't made a land drop. They just rip the top off the top. Wow. And that will kill us, because that's a draw 16, right? Maybe I'm wrong to take stock up. Maybe I'm supposed to take PO, because it generates mana. I'm definitely supposed to find Mana Crypt as an option. Right, that's the next one on the list. So if I get out of my own Academy head, then I think Mana Crypt is really findable. Opponent needs to end the game here, though, because I've got Icarid, Hollow One, and Chills. So it's one of those classic cases where I'm dead, but I can't concede because there's that small and slight possibility that my opponent is going to fizzle and die. It seems really tough into house plus top. But we've still got stupid outs. So that was a really interesting grief, and I could have fucked it up. I maybe did, because stock up costs mana, PO does not. And then if they mystical stock up, then they have to pass the turn, right? So I think I did take the wrong card. I think I'm supposed to take PO because that generates mana. The reason I took stock up was I didn't find Mana Crypt, right? I found 2 lines which were PO for 2, and I wasn't worried about PO for 2. Whereas PO for 3, untap all my sources, neutral mana, is lethal. And I didn't find that. Which is on me. I should find that line. So, opponent rinsing through their deck, having a grand old time. Just flicking that top around. And I don't know what their kill condition is from here. I guess it's just going to be like Urza's Saga Time Vault. Maybe they've got tendrils in here somewhere, but that seems quite suspicious. Oh, Beseech plays it, right? And all of these cards are registered in Beseech. Oh, no, not PO. Yeah. They stock up again. And they've got 13 cards in hand. 1 billion mana available. Storm count is 26. If they are randomly on a brain freeze kill, then they need to come up with a way to dodge 2 chills, but I can't imagine they're on a brain freeze kill. They DT down to 3 life. Black Lotus sack, I guess, for... Or Tundra as well. Okay, so they're on like a mentor kill? Mentor kill's really tough, no? Or is it just Time Vault? They didn't find the Saga right now. Tezzeret Cruel Captain, absolutely fine. Well, not fine, but you know what I mean. Blue mana, Time Vault, and Tezzeret. There we go. And we'll accept that they can activate this card twice with an expected Yawgmoth Will in deck. So, you're going to show me another card. A Thundertrap Trainer. Thundertrap's cool. Into stock up. Yeah, I'm good and done. I'm happy with that as a game. I'm not happy with it. So they showed us a Tundra, so we are just going to bring this in because it just seems dope. I'm bringing the Vigors. I don't think I care about the Shoals in game 2. And I'm not going to bring in the other Noxious. I need to now find cuts against Big Blue PO, which is not easy at all. I guess just Silver Smotes. I can't. Maybe they don't have Over Encumbered because they're going to be just on Leyline, right? So maybe we don't go quite so hammy. We do bring in a Noxious. We do cut Ghouls down to 0. And I still need a cut. 2 Noxious, max interactions. That seem okay? I think so. I think that seems fine. I'm sure we're in a bad spot anyway, but I think I lost myself a turn there. So that's going to roughly be my criticism. And I think I have to come up with Mana Crypt. I think that's... I was listing cards that produce more than 1 mana. And of the, 3 or 4 of them in the deck, I only came up with 2. Which is really weak. So that's on us. I'm going to blame it being 11:05 in the morning. And we're going to keep this 7. We did lose 2 Vigors there. We've got no interaction on this opener. We do have a hollow one. We do have a green card. We do have a blue card. So we've got good draw outs here. And if our opponent is nuking themselves to a leyline, they're not. They begin on 7, no leyline. Okay. That is somewhat a cause for concern. Let's activate the Bazaar. We find Force of Will, we find Grief. So, these 3 in the middle, Ichorid, Stinkweed, and Serum Powder, these are going to go. We're going to jam a hollow one. We're going to pitch cast a Grief using Shambling Shell. This leaves us with Force of Will blue card. Grief gets in. And they've got Time Vault, Mana Vault, Thunder Trap, Paradox Call, Tormod's Crypt, Stock Up. Land. So if we take Tormod's Crypt, counter Mana Vault, and then dredge our brains out. Because the counter Mana Vault is going to be... They've only got 1 mana source in hand then, and a bunch of 2-drops, right? I don't want their revealed zone, I want my graveyard. Thank you. So, their first main phase. Misty Rainforest. Mox Pearl. Okay, so I need to slow down then. Because I drew the mana source. They're going to fetch and roll something out. Roll out a Thunder Trap. We'll roll out Time Vault. I'll counter Time Vault. I won't counter Thunder Trap, I think. No, maybe I do have to counter either of them. And then they'll PO for 2 next turn. Yeah, so I think I've got to counter whatever this is and just jam. We know my Force of Will is good. Because they drew Mox Pearl for the turn. If they play Time Vault, if they play Thunder Trap, if they play Mana Vault, I'm going to counter all of them. So I'm going to counter this, and then next turn, we're going to go into their turn knowing that they've got Mana Vault PO or Mana Vault Stock Up. This is 1 less card in hand. They can't find their Force of Will from my Force of Will, and 1 less thing to pick up. So we've weakened their PO, and if we let that resolve, there's a chance that our Force of Will doesn't resolve, right? So we just get it in while the getting's good. This also unlocks our upkeep activation without demonstrating the fact we've got Force of Will in hand. And we'll dredge our Stinkweed Imp over the top of the Ichorid, hit 2 Creeping Chills, draw and discard a Force of Will, chill you a bunch, eat a Grief. And now we've only got a Dredge 5 here, so we're at risk of not having anything good next turn. We find a Thug and another Creeping Chill. We attack for 7. Opponent's dead on board, so they need a hell of a turn here. And this Mana Vault, let's say they top deck Key or Tezzeret. This Mana Vault is a concern, right? if they tap it. So, Mana Vault in. And then there's got to be a PO for 2, I assume. Desperation PO for 2, because this gives the mana back. Yep, PO for 2. There are 7 cards. We know 2 of them now. Stock Up and Time Vault. Pearl comes back. Mana Vault comes back. Scalding Tarn is going to send them to 2. We've got 1 Creeping Chill remaining in our deck. Scalding Tarn gets fetched. And then they have another PO or a Stock Up. It's the Stock Up. And it's just wait, watch, and see. Emerald gives them 2 mana. Time Vault. And then they could see, so no Lotus Tezzeret off that. Because then they would have had the mana to untap the Vault as well, which would have been sick. They didn't have Leyline, they did have Tormod's Crypt. Does that mean anything to us? I don't know if it does. But I think I'm going to try dropping something and bringing in this Academy. Because they showed us a Tundra game 1. I don't know if I want to go down a Dredger. I don't know if I want to go down a Noxious with these figures in my deck. I might just throw in a Grief. Just see if that gets us anywhere. Because Grief is slightly worse on the draw. We'll try the Academy just in case they've got the Over Encumbered here. I found my land for the game. We'll mulligan this. And we'll keep this. Double Vigor Hollow 1. But I'm going to make that single Vigor Hollow 1, I think. Oh, that was wrong. I should put the other Vigor on the bottom. No Leyline again. Flooded Strand. Fetches. Maybe I'm supposed to bottom Icarid. Yeah, I think so. And I will go for this Needle Iron step. Pitching the Troll. And if they've got Force of Will, they've got Force of Will. They do have Force of Will. That pitches a Time Walk. And now I need green cards, right? And we don't deploy the Bazaar here because we want to get to hand size quickly. Our opponent has got free reign because I bottomed my Noxious and not my Icarid. Which I think is a mistake. And I know it looks resultsy. But just hold up as many interaction pieces as you can and then go from there. Soul Guide's fine, right? I'm not getting anywhere. Mox Opal's not fine because that's now mana. They've got 2 cards left in hand. That's a hollow one. And I am low on green cards because I didn't max out my Noxious. And one of my Noxious is on the bottom of the deck. One of my other green cards is in exile. So I'm looking to about, what, 4 or 5 outs here. There's not many. So I'm very happy to be told that I punted game 1 due to poor griefing. And wrecked game 3 by poor mulligan decisions. I'm pretty happy with that as a conclusion to this game. So Time Vault. So Stinkweed Imp. Opponent's turn. And then next turn we get to discard Stinkweed Imp. And if they don't kill us now, that is, say Merchant Scroll. I presume Ancestral. Maybe they just get Force of Will to lock shit up. But I'm going to discard Dredgers this turn. Force the Soul Guide Lantern to pop. They get an Ancestral. I hit another hollow one. We'll discard Stinkweed Imp. And this might cause them to pop that Soul Guide Lantern. But the dream here is that they draw mono lands for the rest of the game, first of all. And then we Stinkweed Imp into Shambling Shell, we Shambling Shell into Vigor, we kill those two, somehow that resolves, and then we play the game. With 3 hollow ones. I think we'd be killing Needle Time Vault at this point in time, but this Ancestral probably just kills us. Dredge Stinkweed Imp, yes please. I do hit the Shambling Shell, but they're not going to give me the 1/1. So Shambling Shell has to wait a turn. I will use Narcomoeba's ability, and then I'll pass the turn. And opponent's going to fetch. Get an Underground Sea. Make me discard. Stinkweed Imp. And this is, I'm sure, incredibly over. So they can have PO to counter my card, plus Force of Wills, plus Flusterstorms. I now can't cast cards or activate Bazaar of Baghdad. I can cast cards again, but I still can't activate Bazaar of Baghdad. But opponent's pretty confident that they don't need that Vexing Bauble, right? That's not something that's on their mind. We now get some creatures and 3 damage in, but no more dredgers. We'll take the Narc just because it's an actual factual clock. Now we will eat nothing. We'll discard a Stinkweed Imp. And now they cast Stock Up. I really do dislike getting rid of the second green card there, because it is, I don't know, it's just obvious to me at this point. Like, just keep double interaction. Don't worry about, like, I find kill conditions, right? That's what my deck's really good at. My deck's not very good at finding interaction, because the interaction has to be in hand. The kill condition, just my deck has to be functioning. And the mulligan decision I made is my deck doesn't function. We lose. Tezzeret Time Vault is all the turns. We lose that, I think, due to 2 mistakes on my part. So, let's go to game 2. Okie dokie, round 2. We're up against a minivan of Jeskai, which is a much less cool mode of transport than me. We're going to Powder. And we're going to Mulligan. And now we find the Bazaar. We find 2 Griefs. So we could just absolutely wreck them here, right? We could just do everything, play a Bazaar of Baghdad. I guess it depends on what the first Grief says. Because if they're holding Wasteland, then I don't really know. Maybe I want to slow roll the Bazaar of Baghdad for a turn to maintain Force of Will. Show game log. Nothing. Okay, so we keep... Oh, it's a 6-carder. So I want to send Silver Smoke to the bottom. Say done. I'm on the play. So do I want to just Grief, pitching Grief? Play the Bazaar, hold up. I think Grief, pitching Grief, cast Force of Will to force it through. Opponents on 6 cards as well. Grief you. They've got Vexing Bauble, Dark Ritual, Sensei's Top. I have to take the Vexing Bauble, right? So I think it's another, like, Tinkery deck? I've got to take the Vexing Bauble, though, because maybe that's wrong. Maybe I can take a Dark Ritual because I've got Force of Will for the Vexing Bauble and then I'm not casting spells. So maybe I'm just a moron. I think that's probably more likely. And now I'm not going to have Force of Will open. But I will have double Bazaar of Baghdad. Is that better? I think I fucked this up. Why am I playing so bad? Like, because the Vexing Bauble doesn't matter, right? I didn't activate my Bazaar pre. And now don't have Force of Will open. If they rip Doomsday, it's really tough for us. Maybe I'm supposed to not play the second Bazaar of Baghdad. If they just draw Doomsday, I'm in trouble. Or Necro is a problem. Polluted Delta. Please just play Top or Ponder. They're not going to play top, they've just fetched. Yeah, ponder. Okay. And we've got an activation to upkeep to try and find a dredger. And then a real activation on the dredger. Okay, they roll out a Lotus, so mana's not an issue. Upkeep will activate. I'll play a Hull Breacher, my fucking god. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I'm going to see you all next week in this absolute shit show of a match that we've played so far. Opponent's got infinite mana. They found the top. They're holding Dark Ritual, one card. It's just Beseech Storm with oh god. How do we do this to ourselves so consistently? Yeah, it's your go. They've got Dark Ritual. We need a dredger. They play Dark Ritual. They cast Beseech. Tinker for boluses, and they've got the top. And this time I'm not going to sit around and wait and watch because I'm so fucking dead anyway. Okay. Horrendous plays. I want Vigors. I want a couple of Sickling Shoal because sometimes they do have the thing, that card, the 2/1. Chalice is probably fine. Negations are fine. I'm going to trim a Thug. I'm going to trim the Ghouls. And I need to find one more cut from here. And I think it is going to be a Noxious. Because once again, I just want to have minimum green cards in my deck. That's not true. I don't want minimum green cards in my deck. Okay, game 2. Let's see if we can play better. We can powder at least. That's at least a correct decision I've made. And now I've got interaction. I'm going to pitch the Icarid, get rid of this Shambling Shell, force Misstep up. There we go. That draw step into Ponder was ridiculous, right? Hull Breacher into Lotus. I mean, I'm pretty sure I played shit, but it was still ridiculous. Now I'm going to grief them. Okay, so what have we got? Dress Down, Petal, Mystical. Let's take your Petal. Urza Saga's a problem. They can't produce blue mana. Mind's Desire is interesting. I don't know why I've got a draw step stop. What's that there for? I'll say just immediately grab a blue source. Surprised they didn't play Saga first. So what, they're trying to play Dress Down? Oh, they're trying to Mystical for Tinker. Okay, I see. And then I just dredge slowly, right, with this Shambling Shell to keep my blue cards going. I find a Narcomoeba. But I don't find a Dredger, so we'll hold off the activation. Force our opponent into considering a Force of Vigor. They're going to fetch maybe a tap land if they've got it. They don't have it. Oh yeah, it's a custom Mystical. We discussed this. Mystical doesn't resolve. Oh, I need to activate now to play around Hull Breacher, right? That's an answer for a Saga there. But that means I'm coming off my Force of Will again. So what if I drop negation? Then if they just find another land, then the whole breach is just in. I think I just discard the Vigor and race the Saga. And that's the plan. Yeah. So they've got one mystery card in hand. They play the Saga. This unlocks the Whole Breacher. The Whole Breacher will get fought over. They're just going to cast a Time Walk. I guess I'm going to negate Time Walk. We know their hand. We'll negate Time Walk, and then we just get to go as hard as we can and produce as big a board as we can with them having not much going on, right? They've got Whole Breacher Dress Down, Mind's Desire, and we need to get as many bodies into play as possible prior to this Urza Saga resolving. And we know they can't walk into a Chapter 3. So we do get a Creeping Chill. We do get to eat this grief at the top of the deck here. And then I get to dredge 5. And then they get to play a Whole Breacher or cast Dress Down on my next turn to prevent Icarids from attacking. And then they get to resolve a Saga, and we've got to hope we found some Amalgams by then. And that's that. That's going to be our game plan. Walk prevents the Saga tick, which gives us an extra activation before our graveyard gets nuked. And then if I'd kept Vigor green card, they would have played Saga, cast Time Walk. These two things could be dead. Would be dead, in fact. So maybe that was better, but we don't know that they haven't just drawn Force of Will to go with their Whole Breacher, at which point then my Vigor loses, I get breached. You know. We'll eat the grief then. We'll dredge 5 off the Stinkweed Imp. I get Narcomoeba Creeping Chill and another Icarid. Is that enough to kill? Not next turn for sure. They're at 8. Honestly, it is enough to kill next turn. So their Whole Breacher has to come in and chump. Or their Dress Down has to come in and... Oh no, 9. I'm not very clever. Or their Dress Down has to come in. 1 chill, 2 chill, and a chill in the bin. So that's 3 chills. So we've got 1 chill left. Oh, the breach doesn't have to block. They can make tokens. But I imagine we're going to get... Oh no, the Whole Breach is in. That's fine. I was going to say, I imagine we're going to get Dressed Down. But we've got to find some black cards for these Shambling Shells here. I will opt to use the Dredge replacement effect and not the Whole Breacher replacement effect. We find our final Creeping Chill, sending Oppo to 6. And then the Icarids will eat these shells. This will bring in an amalgam. The amalgam. And then I'll dredge a Stinkweed Imp. And then I'll attack. Opponent goes to 1. I get an amalgam. And they need to find a wipe for the graveyard. And a wipe for the board this turn. Which might just mean they have to find a kill. Frankly. They're at 1. They can't fetch. Looks like they're going token, which sounds horrible if you're trying to not die. Because token is, going to block one of my 3 attackers. Which are on the ground. So they float mana, they get a Lotus. Is this going to be Desire for 2? I'm pretty into Desire for 2. They floated black though, so I think they've drawn Ritual. Yawgmoth Will, which will make Lotus, Petal, Lotus, Black Lotus. You can throw out a random mystical here and still Desire for a large number. Yawgmoth Will was a very good find as well. So if you Mystical for Dark Ritual, can you dress down into it? I think you can. No, because then you're off of blue. Nobody got the petal. So yeah, so they can Mystical for Dark Ritual, dress down into Dark Ritual, and then that'll be quite a large Mind's Desire. I don't know if I talked shit about Mind's Desire earlier, or if I just thought it. Well, they find Dark Petition. Oh, I think we missed a slot there. I think we missed 2 Storm. Where's that Exile Zone? It's here. So Yawgmoth's Will, Black Lotus, Mystical Tutor aren't part of it. They cast 2 Dark Rituals on the way through. They snap them off, snap them in, and they get a Mana Crypt. But now, can you go anywhere? You've got 2 cards in hand. One of them's a dress down. Have you just drawn Tendrils as well? No. But now this is a blind draw, right? Whereas before we were able to find a Dark Ritual and... I feel like we missed a bit of Storm. With Dark Ritual dress down, crack the petal for the second blue. And that would have been 2 more Storm. So, we do sneak away with that one. I'm not saying they were wrong. Do we want Leyline? How many of their kills come through the graveyard? Do we want Noxious? How many of their kills come through the graveyard? What am I cutting for these cards, though? What am I cutting for these cards? Are they cutting kill conditions? Can I go down to 1 Thug? Grief isn't great. It's not bad. I'm going to bring in another Noxious and go down to 3 Grief and then submit that. I've got the Sickening Trolls in my deck. Oh, too late. This Grief won't go away now, will it? I think I have to tab out. That's how you get rid of it, yeah. Okay, so game 3 on the draw against another Storm deck. These Storm decks are pretty tough. We'll get rid of Stinky Boy. Grief and Force of Will behind. They've got a Leyline of the Void, which is a challenge, for sure. Underground Sea. Ponder. Sure. Oh, Grief them pitching Sickening Shoal, I think. And I don't know if I'll activate Bazaar of Baghdad yet. Noxious Revival. I think we'll just Grief. And then see what they've got. They've got Sapphire, Force of Will. So they've got nothing. We'll take Force of Will. And then we'll pass the turn back to them. So I want cards, right? I want cards in hand. I need to find a Vigor or a Hollow one to get anywhere this game. Duress me. Okay. They could take Noxious to get me off Vigor. They could take Force of Will to... They take the Noxious to get me off Vigor. Interesting. And then they play the Sapphire, which I obviously don't respond to, because we know they're holding triple land. I draw another Force of Will. So I think I've got one more turn, then I start fishing for hollow ones. They took Vigor there purely to go for... They took Noxious there to beat the Vigors. We're going to fight the top because it's really bad for us for them to have top anyway, but top 2 fetch lands is not acceptable. And now they're holding Delta Swamp, and they opt out of playing another card. They opt out of playing a land, sorry. I'm now down cards, so I'm going to hold the Bazaar away. And then they play the Delta. They've got 1 mystery card in hand. That's a Vigor, so we're going to slow roll again. Because I can't get up and down onto Force of Will, Vigor this turn. So I'll do it next turn, because I've only actually got Stinkweed Imp as a discard, right? So next turn I can go up to down 3, and hold Force of Will, Force Negation, Vigor, green card. Opponent's got 3, so 2 mystery cards at this point. If I rip a green card off the top, it's going to be the most runners I've ever had in my life. Most consecutively perfect cards ever. They play their swamp, so 2 mystery ones, and they're fetching cards. Okay. Fetch, fetch. Five mana. Dark Petition. Do we fight Dark Petition, or do we just let them petition darkly? I guess we can just exile the Dark Petition, right? Get it out of the game. They've got 1 card in hand. I find Force of Will, but I want to go up and down on this Vigor. I don't find anything, so we'll hold Vigor blue card. And now they're going to be able to have 2 cards in hand, which is tough. They find a Mox Pearl and a land. Okay. Okay, so we have got game here. We'll take our draw step, though. We find a hollow one, which is good. And I am happy to go to get this hollow one into play. But if I find a green card, then I'll come off the hollow one. I don't find a green card, but I do find a Chalice of the Void. Is Chalice of the Void any good here? I don't think so. So I think we'll discard Force, Bazaar, Chalice. And then we'll just play the 4/4, right? That's in. So another way we beat Leyline of the Void is this 4/4 here. Our opponent is Hellbent, but obviously they're playing Vintage. Many such cases. So Ponder might just end the game. They've got a fetch to go with their Ponder if all they see is crap, but they've drawn so many mana sources. I think it's going to be hard for them to miss completely. And then if we can get a green card, then that's great. If we draw another hollow one, we might consider coming off of Vigor completely. But if they find a tutor, we lose. I'm sure. Fetch land. This is a Dark Petition again. Yeah, Dark Petition for triple black, which could just be a Beseech kill from here. They've got the Moxen to do it with. But do they play both of those? I can't imagine so. It might just be get a Necro and pay down to 5 life. Tinker, sure. Tinker for house. Okay. And then Mystical Tutor off the top. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. So that'll just get Ancestral, I presume. Unless they've got a mana producing spell that's not Dark Ritual. Their PO isn't very good. Oh, they don't have a PO, do they? But I think that's it. I think that's game. Ponder works. Ponder kills us. Ponder, Dark Petition, Tinker. And it's just a case of them actually killing me now. They find Mind's Desire. And they Mind's Desire for 5. That's a cute one. They find DT. Yeah, okay, that's game. Cool. So that is DT, Duress, Soaring, Lotus Petal, Dark Petition. So that's good. You've got a kill there. We were too slow to get anywhere. They had the ley line. Many such cases. I will see you for round 3. Okay, then round 3. We're up against Lord of Life Gain in our Dredge Gets Smashed feature special. We're going to mulligan. We are on the play. We find some griefs. We've got the blue card. We're going to pitch Stinkweed Imp and Icarid +1 to this activation. No, we're not. I mulliganed. We'll get rid of the Thug nonetheless. We'll try and find a new black card for this grief. But I do want to keep Icarid and Good Dredger in the bin. And we find Silver Smoke Ball and Grief. So let's get rid of Silver Smoke Ghoul and just grief them using grief. We've got negation to fight back with on their turn. And grief's in to show us what they're up to. So, Fatal Push, Collector Oof. Force of Negation. Oppo has the goods. We will take the Fatal Push? No, the Collector Oof, right? Their hand's shit. They've just got a billion wastelands, is the joke. Right, I don't have a Bazaar of Baghdad this whole game. This is just going to be Wasteland you and pass. We're going to dredge a Stinkweed Imp, eat a Grief with Icarid, I guess. Do I want to? I don't want to. Do I want to wait until I found an amalgam? Or do I want to get my damage in whilst the damage is good? How much faith do we have in a Stinkweed Imp? And I mean, like, I've got a lot of faith in a Stinkweed Imp. Yeah, perfect. You go, Stinky Boy. So I hit the world, right? I hit another Stinkweed Imp. I hit an amalgam. I hit a chill for the Silver Smoke Ghoul. And our opponent is, you know, nice wastelands. You're dead. So we get our creatures back. Then the Icarid will die. And the next turn I'll dredge 5. So the Icarid doesn't have any food left, but that's okay. We got 6 power into play in exchange. I will negate that. I can't negate the push ever, so we'll negate the Moxjet. Keep them off Leovold, keep them off nonsense. I don't know what the Moxjet's going to do for them, but we'll keep them off it. They might push something here. If they do, I'll eat it. Icarid can't do anything. Let's say no. Let's dredge a Stinkweed Imp. Hit another Icarid and a Golgari Thug. Attack a bunch. One of our guys will get pushed. Oh, I hit Golgari Grave Troll. That one's really powerful, I heard. So you got to hit the Ghoul, right? See, Malcolm just comes back next turn. But then the Ghoul can be Bowmanned and the Amalgam can't. So maybe you want to hit the Amalgam. They hit the Ghoul. I think that's correct. They go to 9. I've got Grave Troll into Thug. But I've also got Lethal on board. With Eat Ghoul, Eat Thug, Dredge Grave Troll. That is 10. Plus any chills we hit on the way through. So they've used one Fatal Push. They've got 4 cards in hand. We know that one of them is a Strip Mine. We know that one of them is a Force of Negation. So what did I say? Eat Ghoul. Eat Thug. Dredge a Grave Troll. Trigger an Amalgam. Hit an Archamoeba. Trigger an Amalgam. 2 Stinkweed Imps as well to go with it. And opponents had enough. So they had Strip Mine. It didn't matter. What do we want against these guys? Against Bug Control. I guess we want this. I guess we want this. The Sickening Shoals. They're not a Lurus deck. And I think Chalice is bad. I think Negations are weak, but playable. And I want the Vigors. Where are the Vigors? Pay me in Vigors. Maybe I just come off blue cards and just have creature spells and disenchants. What does that look like for a game plan? It looks pretty rough. I'm going to try it. As if we're playing against the mirror. Just without the ley lines. This hasn't got a Bazaar of Baghdad, so I'm probably going to mulligan. So, to 6. And then Powder. Hiding Shoal, because it's our sideboard card. And if we go to Oblivion or just get wrecked, then the less we show, the less they know, you know? So this has got a Grief, a Hollow one, so we can get around a ley line. We can force our Grief through, our Hollow one through. They've gone to 6 with the ley line. They've got a Polluted Delta, and they don't have a Pithing Needle. So our Grief will clear a path here for this Hollow one to get in. We find a Vigor on the way through as well. We can get rid of Chill, Amalgam, Powder. We can Grief pitching Thug. That gets through. Psychic Frog, Leyline of the Void, Demonic Tutor. I hate all of those cards, but I think I have to take Psychic Frog. And now I'll cast a Hollow One. And they can DT for a Shatter. They have got the Undercity. They might just DT for an Academy if they... Oh, not an Academy, the other card. Oh, they don't DT at all. DT for Tabernacle is what I mean. But they top deck Brainstorm, which is probably going to shuffle away this Leyline. They play the Delta, and then we know they're holding DT and 1. We hit a green card, so I will activate. We don't hit a green card, but I will activate. This is sketchy. But we're going to go for it. And I'm going to wait for them to fetch. I imagine they're just getting a Hedge Maze here, right? And they might DT for Wasteland during their turn. That would make sense. Or DT for Tabernacle. Oh, they get rid of a Gush. Yeah, Gush isn't great when you've got 2 tap lands in play. I guess I need to not do this until they've resolved their DT. Because I want them to DT for Tabernacle. And then I can kill their Leyline. And then I have a Bazaar of Baghdad. If I Vigor Upkeep, they don't play any of those cards. That's a Psychic Frog. It's a Psychic Frog. Well, we're going to end step then. They could have DT still. They could have access to a Leyline next turn. They're going to fetch and play Flusterstorm. Spell Pierce. Okay. So they're just holding Demonic Tutor. No reason for us to activate our Bazaar here. Do I want to attack? Does it? Yeah, I've got to attack, right? Because they're just going to... fly anyway if I don't attack. So I may as well let them through. And now they'll have DT for tab, TT for removal spell. And that will likely be game. Very powerful Brainstorm from the opponent into double search, right? So Tabernacle, Assassin's Trophy, blah, blah, blah. A whole list of things that they can realistically play that we can't beat. So there's the Demonic Tutor. And it might get an Ancestral as well. It's another real option, but no, it does get the Tabernacle at Pendle Vale. My Hollow One dies, and along with that go all of my hopes and dreams of winning this game. So I will activate the Bazaar of Baghdad, and I think give up there. So, if I'd found a Vigor there, then I might keep playing. On the play, I'm going to bring my Grief back in. I'm going to drop a Thug. I think that's fine. We don't have a Wasteland. Against Tabernacle, there's that funny thing where we could bring in the Academy to protect our Hollow Ones, but I don't think that's real. So no Bazaar of Baghdad, plenty of sideboard cards. No Bazaar of Baghdad, no sideboard cards. Well, maybe the Noxious is a sideboard card. Maybe. And we'll go to 5. Then we'll go to 4. What's Oppo up to? They've mulliganed to 6. And kept on 6. We're going to go to 4. We're going to go to 3. We'll powder this. We'll hide all the Vigors that we can hide. And the Sickening Shoal and the Creeping Chill. And then we'll say done. And then we'll powder those 3. And then we'll powder those 3. And then we'll mulligan to 2. And then we'll mulligan to 1. And I think we'll just say thanks a lot. Good games. Okay. Unfortunate game 3, but the cost of doing business. We will go to our next round. Okay then, round 4. We're up against Conrad Kolos. Not a name I've seen in a while, but they used to be a bit of a regular, I think. We've got a Bazaar, so that's a dramatic fucking improvement on the last game we played. We'll keep this. We've got a bit of interaction on the draw into a Bazaar activation. We can protect our Bazaar. We can protect ourselves with the negation. We've got a Ghoul. We've got a Creeping Chill if we want to try and Noxious that. But we need to find a Dredger pretty quickly. So, opponent has a Mox Ruby to kick off. No Lurus again. I don't know if we played against one yet. No, we haven't. 2 Storm decks into Bug is not Lurusy. But it's cool not to play against Lurus because it shows that you don't have to. Wasteland, my man, out there with the search engine. So, maybe it's a Shops deck. I've got a Noxious Revival, which I will have to cast on their turn. I've got 2 Noxious Revivals, that's all of them. Activate this. Cross your fingers, hope for Dredgers. Oh, go on, snap it off there. I thought they were going to Wasteland me there, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll Noxious it in response. So anyway, that's a Stinkweed Imp, a Stinkweed Imp, a Stinkweed Imp, a Silver Smoke Ghoul, and a Silver Smoke Ghoul. I've got a Noxious for Bazaar of Baghdad and a Noxious for Creeping Chill. Pretty cool. Maybe I was supposed to discard the Chill. Hang on a minute. Discard a Chill, Noxious this, draw a card, yeah. We made mistakes. Again. But they Wasteland my Bazaar of Baghdad. They deploy another card. I'm sure of it. It's a Witch Blessed Meadow. Tapped. Okay, so we now know what we're up against. They've not revealed a chance of the Annex. I have revealed a Noxious Revival. I'll get this back. I'll go to my draw step. I won't dredge a Stinkweed Imp. And I'll activate a Bazaar of Baghdad. We'll dredge Stinkweed Imp. We'll hit Creeping Chill and another Silver Smoke Ghoul. We'll discard Thug, Imp, Chill. And we'll just put a cheeky 10 power into play. Actually 13 with that Icarid there. So we made mistakes. I should have discarded a Creeping Chill previously, because then I would have guaranteed these Silver Smokes better than the way I did it, and they would untap the turn early. So our opponent kept a heinous hand there. We're going to bring in Vigors, Noxious, Shoals. We're going to take out Chalice, Force, Force, Force. I like the misstep. I think 1 grief on the draw is acceptable again. So now we can fight a bunch of shit. That's my game plan. Okay, game 2 against Mono White Initiative. We've got a powder hand here. This is where things get a bit tricky. So let's powder. Let's mulligan. Let's mulligan. And we'll keep this and we'll send double chill away, I think. Chill, chill. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. So there's 2 chills on the bottom of our deck. If we get there. There's no Chancellor, there's no Leyline. There is a keep on 7 though. So turn 1 Anointed Peacekeeper dies to... Holy fuck balls, that's a Lotus. Turn 1 Peacekeeper dies to Sickening Shoal. They've got a Tormod's Crypt, but we can play through that. They've got some mana sources. I'll concede that. Holy shit. And now the Peacekeeper? White Plume. Interesting. Okay. But I've got a Bazaar. It's contested by a Crypt. They've got basic planes. That was... I don't know. If your opponent plays 5 cards and draws cards on turn 1, then... and those 5 cards are... You're dead in a few turns. Your deck doesn't work. Your deck doesn't work. I think you're behind. I mean, that's my... And they've lined up a turn 2/3 drop as well. So I don't think this is going to go well for us, if I'm honest. I'm going to activate the Bazaar of Baghdad, though. Find another Sickening Shoal for the draw step. We'll spin the Bazaar, and we'll find Literal Air. Let's bin these cards, because we might die so quickly here that there's no point. But that's not enough to bait the Tormod script, is it? No, so maybe that was bad. Maybe I'm supposed to show them the Icarids. Okay, crunch, crunch. I don't think actually I can win here. Snow-covered plains in hand. Snow-covered plains played for the turn. 3 mana available on the other side of the table. Tormod script's interesting. I guess it's allowed because they dropped the Clarion Conqueror against us, right? I'll respond to that with this. I do find a Dredger. I will feed them the Dredger. This guy then untaps. They've got a 5/5. I'm at an effective 10. Dredger Stinkweed Imp. Hit nothing. Likely dead. Likely dead. Okay, opponent 5s me into the face. Pretty painful. I go to 10. Then I go to 5. And then I try and Icarid them. I don't think I dredge here, is the thing. I think I just make an Icarid. Okay, no, they just nuke me. Cool. No plays. Activate, upkeep. I need a Bazaar of Baghdad. I do hit the Bazaar of Baghdad. Okay. Talk to me. Talk to me about your blockers deck. I've got a Stinkweed Imp. I don't hit a blocker. I play a Bazaar of Baghdad. I activate it. I've got 2 more Stinky Boys. Stinkweed Imp. Come on. Creeping Chill. Anything? Nothing. I die. Okay. So I'll bring in the Chalice on the play. That's going to beat their Tormod Crypt. I'll bring in the Grief on the play. I think over a Thug, over a Silver Smoke, something like that. So now I've got everything, and that's that. I do like Mental Misstep for binking on their plows and their stuff like that. So we'll powder this away. Our Chalice goes, so that's a shame. One of our Griefs go. So let's powder again. Keep Bazaar. Sickening Shoal. I will eat a thing with a hollow one here if I have to. A Chancellor trigger with a hollow one. Not above that. If it means I can kill hate pieces going down the road. Then if they leyline me, is that a different story? I don't think so. That was a very powerful opener from the opponent, and we almost recovered. Like, if I hit a Creeping Chill on that turn, or just a Narcomoeba, right, then I get a bunch of shit into play. I get to untap with it, and then suddenly they need to present something new. So, they got 6 cards. They've got no pre-game effects. So, no Leyline, no Chancellor. We activate our Bazaar of Baghdad. Love a Grief here. I don't hit one. Thug. Icarid. Amalgam. Play Hollow One. And we're protecting the other Icarid. So I think it's better than the Amalgam. And let's see what our opponent has to say on turn 1 this time. They've got a land, and it's not a wasteland. They bolt it in. Zap, zap. Chromie Mox. Gets rid of Chance of the Annex, which I guess they drew for the turn. And then they play a Containment Priest. Okay. Absolutely fine. Tormod's Crypt is in. And I'll kill the priest. Not ashamed to do that. Kill the priest with the Creeping Chill. They might nuke my yard in response. They don't. And I will eat an Amalgam if allowed. So I just want to deal damage. I'll eat an Amalgam. I'll Dredge a Thug. And I'll pass the turn. Well, I'll 7 you first of all. That's where I'll start. Icarid dies. There's a Grave Troll in the bin. They've got 3 cards in hand. And they look to just be passing. So it looks like we've got another Containment Priest on the go. Icarid goes onto the stack. Icarid eats a Grief. Draw step. Dredge a Grave Troll. Attack for 7. No Containment Priest. Maybe Plow? Yeah, Plow's a hollow one. I want to get my Sickening Shoal back right now, I think. Do I? No, I'll take my 4 life. I will go for my Sickening Shoal right now, I think. Or do I want a Vigor? Vigor's pretty scary for them, right? Let's get a Vigor back. Pay 2 life. I'd like my Vigor. I'm going to go after your things. This should get the Tormod's Crypt. Because otherwise it's going to get that land. Yeah, so that gets the Tormod's Crypt. So that's fine. And now we can activate, and I've gained 4 life this turn, so any Silver Smoke Ghouls we find on the activation are gravy. No Silver Smoke Ghouls, but we do find Icarid, Grave Troll, Thug, and we'll hold the Shambling Shell for future Vigor implications. Oppo's on 2 cards. They're on 7 life, and I've been through 1 Creeping Chill. I've got 3 Creeping Chills and 25 cards, and I can probably do 25 cards next turn. Or close to it. They have a Mox Jet now. And they have a White Plume Adventurer, which is frankly irrelevant at this stage in the game, when I've got Lethal Burn and forcing you to chump block. Okay, so Snake Over Plains, what's your last card? It's awful, is what they've said to me. So I'll Dredge the Grave Troll. I'll Dredge a Golgari Thug. I'll hit everything. I'll miss everything, sorry. So Icarid eats a Grief. Icarid eats a Shambling Shell. Dredge a Grave Troll. Chill you at last. Yes, yes, yes. You have to chump block. I get the initiative. We'll get to confirm that there's still 2 chills left in our deck. Show me my 9 cards, please. There they are. Look at them. Look at all of those cards. Wow. Right. You'll go. You're dead. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, I've got to click buttons as well. Right. Creatures come back. Then the Icarid dies. I've got a board state. They haven't. I've got the initiative. They haven't. I've got Bazaar of Baghdad. They have not. And we win the match. Perfect. Perfect. So we beat, Containment Priest Tormod's Crypt there, which was always fun. To find our way through the hate pieces. Would have been cool if we'd hit the Silver Smoke Ghoul on the activation after the hollow one, but hey ho. Right, see you for the next round. We won a match. Okay, 5th and final round of our Trainwreck League. We're up against one Gia, who usually reveals a Lurus. Usually that's their thing. Yeah, Lurus. We powder. And then we powder. And then we keep a solid hand. I think they're usually Lurus control, but obviously you can register what you want. It's not the law. So if we draw into another blue card, that will be fabulous. Our opponent's likely to have Wastelands, seeing as we've shown them and they've taken a mulligan now. We'll activate the Bazaar. We'll get rid of Stinkweed Imp and Icarid for Shawsies, and then we'll get rid of the other Stinkweed Imp as well. Over to the opponent, we've got double interaction against spells. We do not have double interaction against Wastelands, but we do have double Stinkweed Imp. So the Icarid's going to have to hang out for a moment, just chill there, be a dude, and then we can dredge 10 and hopefully find some better food for the Ick. So Oppo uses their mulligan well. We dredge a Stinkweed Imp. We hit nothing, just fucking mono bazaars. Tragic. And we didn't even hit food, right? Realistically. I mean, maybe I could eat the Shambling Shell and dredge the Stinkweed Imp. I am close to hand size, but my opponent is going to make me use cards at some point, right? So maybe I'm not into that quite as much. How many dredges did we exile here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got like 6 dredges left. I can't do basic arithmetic, let alone work that out. I'm not going to bring the Icarid back this turn. I'm going to sandbag dredges for the future, just in case we don't get to hand size. I do find a Creeping Chill. I do find a Silver Smoke Ghoul. This will find an Amalgam. So we generate threats without bringing the Icarid back. I will eat next turn if I have 7 in hand going into my turn. So Silver Smoke Ghoul is in. What is this? That's an Undercity Sewers. Yeah. Fine. So Silver Smoke Ghoul's in. This will trigger the Amalgam. And then that will come in their end step. And if I've not used cards, which is very unlikely, seeing as all of their good cards cost 2 mana, like this here, Psychic Frog. Ooh, foil Underground Sea, you don't see that every day. Okay, so they're holding a Bow Master, which I might not fight over, to be honest with you. I might leave them to have a Bow Master, so that way I can eat an Icarid, eat with Icarid, dredge 3, discard Stinkweed Imp, and just let them have the Bow Boy. We hit another Silver Smoke Ghoul. I hit a Grief, which is good for future Icarids. In we go. And I'm going to discard Stinkweed Imp this turn. Here comes the Bowmasters. I'm not going to respond. Bowmasters will eat Icarid, trade with Ghoul. Or the other way around. Or they'll just take 6. And now we'll discard Stinkweed Imp. The Icarid's going to eat the Grief. The Icarid's got infinite food now, right? If I'm not so fussed about these Ghouls. Oh, they're just blocking the Amalgam, leaving the Ick. Okay, sure. That all seems to do the same thing. 1 Creeping Chill, 2 Creeping Chill, 3 Creeping Chills have gone. So we're actually pretty shallow on chills for these Ghouls to come back with anyway. I've got the Grief to eat next turn, so it's fine. But like, if I don't hit the chills next turn, the final chill next turn, then I can just start eating the Ghouls with impunity, really. I don't think it matters. So 3 mana for the opponent. Is it just jam a Time Twister? No, it's by Lurus. Okay. And Lurus I've got good outs to fight against next turn, so we will eat the Grief with the Icarid, dredge the Stinkweed Imp. I've still got discard to 7 here, so it's all going like as smoothly as it can when you get wasted on 1. Okay, I guess I attack. I hit Golgari Thug, so I've got 2 dredges rolled up. In for 6. I hit another grief so I can eat next turn and leave the ghouls where they are. Bowmaster's blocks. Statement of intent from the opponent. They go to 9. Icarid goes to the graveyard. Stinkweed Imp goes to the graveyard. And we are just drawing 5 cards a turn, which is more powerful than our opponent who's playing land go over there. So, Cycles of Lorien revealed. Gets an Underground Sea, plays an Underground Sea. And now what's your line from here? Black, black, blue. Lurrus of the Dream Den, which I will fight. Pitching, Force of Negation. Opponent fights back with Force of Will. I fight back with Force of Negation on your Force of Will. And they've got another Force of Will of their own. Okay. Pitching Gataxian Probe. So, large stack goes off. They've got 1 card left over. I've got 1 Icarid, 1 Amalgam. Icarid eats Grief. Stinkweed Imp gets Dredged. Amalgam triggers Chill. No. But another Icarid. In for 6. They go to 1. Amalgam in, Icarid out. 2 Icarids now. In the bin. 2 cards in hand. One of them's a Black Lotus. They attack me for 3. They go up to 4. They can play a Bowman from the bin. They hit me down to 18. Is your last card a Time Twister? No. Okay. So Icarid eats Shell. Icarid eats Ghoul. I dredge a Thug. I hit a Narcomoeba. I attack with all of my creatures. And they need something. They can crack Lotus Fatal Push. They can do this and play another Bowmaster. That works as well. I've got 1 Dredge left. They eat the Narcomoeba. Bowmaster, Orc Army, Bowmaster. They go to 1. They get a blind draw and a Bowmaster to play. Their blind draw is not yet known. I go to 17. They attack me for 3. You got to attack me to 3, otherwise you die to the chill. Okay. Icarid eats Grief. Icarid eats Ghoul. Golgari Thug dredges. Creeping Chill, still not here. In we go. Block, block, block. Everything's dead. They've got 1 card in hand. I've got an Amalgam. They've got 2 cards. One of them's a Time Walk. It's pretty good when you're struggling for turns being alive. And they concede. Nice. Okay, so a slog, but a positive slog nonetheless. So, just blue, black. I think I want a few shoals. I think I'm less interested in the permission, right? Because all of their cards are bad, apart from the Wastelands. So I think I'm going to come down some permission spells. Like this, maybe. I don't want the Chalice. A classic 4-2 split. Cut a Grief, cut a Thug. And ship it back. Okay, then game 2 against Wanjia. We will powder our 7. And then we will mulligan to 6 cards. And then we'll powder our 6-card hand and we'll hide a Creeping Chill in the deck. And then we'll keep double Bazaar, no Dredger. And we'll see what our opponent can do. Obviously, they've got a whole turn here to do what they want, to get ahead of my Bazaar of Baghdad, and then they can start wastelanding me. So Sapphire, Polluted Delta. Please don't turn 1 Frog us, homie. That would suck. That does indeed suck. Okay. 4 cards over there, but obviously they're going to accrue cards quite quickly with this Frog. We play and activate the Bazaar of Baghdad, and we'll discard Silver Smoke Ball, Creeping Chill. I'll hold one of them for now. I'll cast a hollow one. And I'll pass to you. So they can have just actual factual graveyard hate. They can have wastelands. Cool thing about wastelands, we can tax their vigors here. Their forces here, sorry. They do have a better Frog than I've got, a hollow one. They're going to discard Underground Sea and take to the skies to bink me for 2. I will go now before they draw a card. And that works. They hit me for 2. I go to 16. And they go back up to 4 cards. And then they have a walk, which is horrendous news. Okay, Time Walk's very powerful. Time Walk is very powerful. Right. So they hit me. I don't block. I go to 14. They play a Flooded Strand. That gives them 3 mana. Is this just by Lurus? Yeah. By Lurus, no Lotus. Nice. I'll draw my Bazaar of Baghdad. I'll play it and activate it. I'll discard 3 cards and play a hollow one. I've got another Bazaar of Baghdad in the bank anyway. Hollow one's too much for them. They force pitching force. I don't have any dredges here. I am just going to for them. And now if they've got Lurus Lotus, not Lurus Lotus, Lurus Tormod's Crypt, then I probably am just fucking dead. So I'm not going to be able to get through that easily. They've got a Wasteland for my Bazaar of Baghdad. They use it immediately. They don't want to see what they draw off Psychic Frog. I go to 12. Lurus enters the battlefield. Do you have a Tormod's Crypt? No. Draw step, I get to draw a card. It's a Sickening Shoal. I'll play a Bazaar. I think I'm supposed to activate now to prevent Bowmans from being good. I don't find a Dredger. That might just be us deceased then. Am I supposed to attack? I don't think so, because I'm dealing 1 damage and taking 5 to 10 back. So I'll just make Lurus stay home, and if they've got the 3rd Wasteland, then so be it. Couldn't find a Dredger in the top 33, and they're going to just discard cards and dump and run, I think. Plays a Moxjet from the bin. In for 3 on the floor. Don't want to deny a card. No, I'll just take my 3. They play a tap land, and I don't know how we get out of this. So let's upkeep the Bazaar activation. No Bowman, but there is a Dredger, so that's a start at the very least. Dredger, Stinkweed Imp, hit me something, please. No, nothing. And then I'm at 9, so this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. No Icarid, no Creeping Chills. What is this on end step? Dismember, and that's lethal, because they just discard all their hand. So we lose. Okay. Needed to hit something off of that Dredge 5, did not. So do we want anything else? Are we happy where we are? Do I want that Thug back, because I keep getting wrecked? Over like a Sickening Shoal? Still don't think I want Chalice. They're like not massively Mox and deck, and their hate might be Soul Guide or Spellbomb rather than Tormod Crypt. And they might have Cage. Do I have Vigors in? I presume I have Vigors in. I don't have Vigors in. Okay. Very suspicious. But we can powder away 2 of our Force of Wills, and then we can powder away a lot of our kill conditions. And now we can go to 6 cards as is intended. And now we've got Bazaar. We'll drop the powder. Keep this. Drop powder. Say done. Opponent's on 7. So I'll activate the Bazaar of Baghdad. I find Force of Will, which is tasty. I'll get rid of these 3. And now I'll Grief you. Grief just gets in there. So I guess I just want a Wasteland hand again. Nihil Spellbomb, Ancestral Recall, Flusterstorm, Strip Mine. Oh, Brainstorm, not Flusterstorm. So do I just take Ancestral and try to fight the Spellbomb later? Not very good at fighting the Spellbomb though. I've got 1 Dredge to hit Narcomy but Icarid Chill, and it's a Dredge 4. I'm just gonna take your Ancestral. I think me winning the fight over the Spellbomb later is how I win. And let's see if they strip me or just cast Spellbomb. Strip Mine. And do you activate or do you just cast the Spellbomb? Casting the Spellbomb is what we want. I've got 2 cards. Can you protect the Spellbomb? Can you protect against the Noxious? They strip mine me. And I just need to hit one of the things, you know, off of this Thug. I hit none of the things off the Thug. Well, that's not true. I do hit an Icarid here. And I hit a Dredger. So next turn I get stuff if I have a graveyard, right? They've had 2 looks at a Force of Will. And they've got a Brainstorm to go and find the Force with here. If this doesn't work, then I lose. It does work, and they don't even Brainstorm to check. But now I'm just going to get infinite creatures into play. I'll eat the Grief, I'll Dredge the Stinkweed, double Amalgam triggers. Stinkweed Imp. Nothing, but that's still 6 power. I'm surprised we didn't Brainstorm in response there. Looking for Force of Will, because the rest of your hand is nonsense, right? Swamp, Flooded Strand. The Delta's gone, the Ancestral's gone. The Strip Mine's gone. So the rest of the hand is really bad. So I would have assumed, and now they're going to Undercity instead. I don't know about this. I feel like we could have gone looking. But maybe, no, because they have to hit blue card. They got Mindbreak Trap in? That's interesting. They've got to hit blue card Force right off of it. So maybe they just can't afford to do that shit. Now they'll Brainstorm because they've got Flooded Strand up. And they might find something off of their Brainstorm. My Icarids are starved for food. So maybe we Icarid eats Icarid, Dredgefall. Flooded Strand comes in and gets fetched immediately, so they're not interested in this Brainstorm at all. They buy Lurus. I assume means they drew Lotus. No, they're going for a Spellbomb loop. Okay, they're going for a Spellbomb loop. So we will... Do I just want to deal max damage? So I just eat shell, eat ghoul, dredge 4. That will deal you 12 damage. You'll be at 3 and you'll be forced to chump block. So I'm going to do that. Eat shell. There's drilling. Eat shell, eat ghoul. Dredge thug, chill is lethal. No chill. Opponent goes to 3. They have to play Spellbomb and use Spellbomb immediately. And then I'm on drawing cards again, which is not great. They find an Urza Saga, which is tragic, because that's a blocker for the Amalgam the following turn. And they might have just snuck their way through here, because we didn't hit a chill. How many chills did we hit earlier? Just one? Just one. So in comes Lurus. In comes a Spellbomb. Spellbomb has to be popped. It's non-negotiable. And then Amalgam trades with Lurus. And Saga token jumps in front of the Amalgam next turn. I'm going to draw 3 Creeping Chills and then lose. Sickening Shoal would have been a pretty decent draw there as well. Right, in we go. They have to block, so I have to attack, right? They go to 3. That breaks up the Lurus loop. They've now got a Saga, so they need another artifact to trade with this Amalgam. Or just a Bowman and a land. We know they've got the land. They've got the land in spades. They've got a Wasteland, so I've only got 1 Bazaar activation next time I find a Bazaar of Baghdad. I assume they've got Bowman. They're doing something. They're making a Saga token upkeep. That's really weird. I'll try and make them eat it. I don't know if this attack's good. If they've got the Bowman, then it's just horrible. But if they don't have the Bowman, I need to eat their resources, right? They don't have the Bowman. This time it is a 3/3. But we are just wasting time at the moment. And if they've got another Spellbomb in deck, which I presume they do, then I'm really up against it. Yeah, we would... That strip mine... Maybe them going for the max damage was wrong. I don't think it is. I think I've got to, because I think it forces... No, I have to do it, because I had them lethal to chill. I had them dead to Creeping Chill, and I had them dead to Creeping Chill, and it meant that it can draw a card and wait a turn. So I had to do that attack, and it's just not quite... Then they do the Saga, which keeps them alive, and then the Frog, which means I can't attack again. Okay, now I need to just draw Bazaar of Baghdad, and that's my out. Okay then. Let's do that then. What's the most expensive card in my hand? Stinkweed Imp. So drop Thug, Imp, Grave Troll. No, Thug, Imp, Thug. And then we can attack for 3. Try and shrink. I don't know how they'll block here. They pump a Frog. They put the Frog in the way. That's just a 2/3 against my 3/3. They discard a Swamp. So we know they're holding Brainstorm. So we will exile a Stinkweed Imp. Sickening Shoyu. Their last card is Brainstorm. I don't know if they play Daze. I should have... I'm very dumb. But that's dead. I've got this guy. They have to pop the Soul Guide at some point. which will make their guy a 2/2. They've got 2 cards in hand. One of them's a Brainstorm. They wasteland my Bazaar of Baghdad, which makes sense. Then they cast a Demonic Tutor. Motherfucker. Now this gets Tabernacle. Ugh. Grim. We start again. They've got 1 card in hand and it's a Brainstorm that they've still not cast, right? Yeah. That was gross. Do I want to force them to use the Lantern, or do I just want to find another Bazaar of Baghdad? Let's pick up a Stinkweed Imp. Hit a Creeping Chill. That forces the Lantern. We hit another Bazaar. I've got 1 left. Okay. Okay. Construct gets paid for. It's a 2/2. They've got 1 card left in hand. 2 cards because of their draw step, sorry. In for 2 they go. We're drawing to 1 Bazaar, or we're waiting 6 turns to discard this Grave Troll. 6 turns is not nice. I'd like a Bazaar. And even generating threats post-Bazaar is really tough anyway, isn't it? There's a Creeping Chill. I think that's all of them now. 1, 2, and the 1 in hand. So I've got 1 left. 1 Bazaar, 2 Bazaar. I'm not sure why he held the Troll earlier, but I think my graveyard's always getting nuked. Opponent finds a Psychic Frog. Ugh. No rest, just hits all the time. We find the Creeping Chill. Well, this league was unsuccessful in results, but the games were interesting, I think. I found them interesting. This match against 1G has been really good, even if it has been half an hour long. I'm going to sit around and see if I find a Bazaar of Baghdad. That Vexing Ball was pretty tough. But they're going to kill me in a turn or 2. They're not going to wait around. They had that DT floating. They've still got that Brainstorm floating. Or am I might be smoking. I'm not sure what's going on. But, like, incredible patience on the Brainstorm. Never used it. Never needed it. Why Brainstorm when the top of your deck is this good anyway, you know? Fetches. This is another frog. Looks to be. It's a Yixlid Jailer. Well then. Nail in the Coffin. In come the cards. Dismember. Polluted Delta. 6U. And then you're dead. Nice. Very good. And I can't recover from this, right? They've got Lethal on board. A Vexing Bauble in play. That even my Bazaar Baghdad doesn't do anything now. So we are dead. Good games, 1G. And that was that.